All right, we're a couple hours into our trip here. We're heading over to the Painted Hills over in Central Oregon. A lot of people don't really know this, but everything I've showed you so far in this video has been probably what you think Oregon's like, a lot of forests and a lot of rivers and things like that. But we're heading over to Central Oregon and kind of the Eastern Oregon area, which is it's classified as a high desert, and that makes up probably about 60 to 70% of the state. So it's going to be a very different climate, and in just a little bit here you'll see a lot of different content about that part of the state that people, I think, overlook a lot of the time. So we're going to check out the Painted Hills. It's supposed to be a really neat area. We've heard about it for a bit and we've never actually gone out and seen it. So we're heading out there and we're going to do some camping on the river, and we'll take you along for the journey and see what we find. All right, so we're out of the mountains now and officially in Central Oregon. This is kind of the more high deserty area over here. As you can probably tell, it's a very different type climate than we've been in so far. So I think we're going to maybe skip on the original plan of going to the Painted Hills today. I think we're just going to go and try and find a place to camp and come back for the Painted Hills tomorrow. We've been dodging a bunch of rain, so if it clears up and stays nice, maybe we'll still go today, but we're also having an issue with the drone. So I think we're just going to try and get set up to go camping and then kind of go from there. One of our cameras also died, so we had to pull over here and get a charger going, so we got that ready for when we actually leave the trail, since we haven't even made off pavement yet. All right, we just stopped by a store. Had an issue. We may have crashed the drone when we were cruising through the mountains there, and bumped it on a snowbank. And so I picked up some Gorilla Tape that I'm hoping will do the job to fix it for now. I have some spare parts, but unfortunately none of those spare parts are the ones that broke. So we'll see how this goes, but hopefully we'll be able to get it back up and running, because I've got a lot of other things I want to film. So we're officially off the road now, and I think it's just going to be kind of a loose gravel road to the campground. Back there a little ways was the turnoff to go see the Painted Hills a little bit more, which I think we're going to be doing tomorrow once we've gotten a chance to get the drone back up and running, and once we got a little bit more time. So we're just heading to the campground right now, and I think this continues on for a couple miles, so we'll probably just keep an eye out for any cool views and give you an update once we're there. I think we found the place that we're gonna set up camp. So we're pretty much out in the middle of nowhere here. We only saw one other group on the way in. I'm not sure if we got that on video or not, but they're set up way down there. So they're pretty much the only people around for miles as far as we can tell. And I think this is gonna be a spot right here. I think it looks like a pretty good view for the night with that there as the backdrop. I mean, how can you beat that when you're out camping? This is such a beautiful area. And what's crazy is this is Oregon. This looks nothing like Oregon. It feels like we're in a totally different state or country. It's crazy. So if you live in Oregon or think you know what Oregon's terrain and climate is like, well, what you see is probably the valley or the coastline. And this kind of stuff here makes up the other, I don't know, 60% of the state. I mean, not this terrain specifically, but just different unique terrains, deserts and hills and everything. So Oregon's a pretty cool state with its wide-ranging kind of geography. So we're gonna get camp set up, and I'll probably try and get some cool shots with the drone if we can get it fixed, and I will see you guys later. So we've got a little bit of a thunderstorm starting up here. I think I got some neat shots with the drone. I'm gonna show those here in a second. But I don't know if you can see it very well on camera, but up there we've just got some rather unstable looking clouds, and we see a flash and you can hear the thunder every once in a while. I did take the drone up originally just to kind of see, you know, what was up past those mountains, and it doesn't really look like there's too much out there, so we're just gonna kind of keep an eye on things. We're in the middle of we're kind of just in the middle of a big open area here. I mean, we do have that tree, which is a lot taller than us, but, you know, if we have a big thunderstorm, I don't really love our setup here. We definitely weren't expecting a thunderstorm or rain or anything. It was supposed to be pretty nice weather with just a little bit of a cloud cover, if anything. But anyways, I'll keep you guys posted, and I just saw one a second ago here, a little flash on the other side of the mountain. So everything right now is on the other side of this mountain here, a little ways out there. I don't know how the drone did picking it up, but I saw at least one bolt on the screen while I was recording it. So hopefully that turned out well, and we're just gonna keep an eye on things, and hopefully we don't have to pack up or move or do something in the middle of the night if it gets worse. I don't think it's going to, but if something changes, I'll let you guys know. Alright, so this is being recorded after the fact, but basically that thunderstorm we'd been watching decided that it was going to go ahead and blow straight into us, and over what felt like was only a few minutes, that thunderstorm got closer and closer to the point where it was basically on top of us. And we eventually just had to make the final decision that we weren't going to camp there. You know, being in the middle of an open field in a rooftop tent, neither of us were really comfortable with that, and so we decided to start getting everything packed up and get the truck put all back together. And while we were doing that, we had multiple bolts that shot straight across the sky directly above us. And I mean, it was right above us to the point where you could have looked straight up and it was right there. And it's probably the closest I've ever been to an actual bolt of lightning. I've been in some thunderstorms before where it was very close, but seeing a bolt that close was pretty wild. And so we were just throwing everything into the truck. I mean, when we saw those bolts right above us, we basically just started throwing everything in the truck to get in there and get out. And I had the fun task of having to climb on top of the truck in the middle of all this to pull down the tent. So, you know, standing on the top of a truck in the middle of a thunderstorm is a unique experience. But we got everything thrown back together. I saw one strike that landed maybe, if I had to guess, maybe a quarter mile away from us. The bolt went straight across the sky and landed in the same open area that we were at, just a little ways away. And it was just a little spooky time. And so because of that, I didn't really spend the time to get any cameras set up, so we didn't, you know, capture anything, unfortunately, until we were back in the truck. And that's when I got the GoPro running again, which is what you're seeing right now. But it was a very fast 10, maybe 15 minutes. I mean, I think we broke our record for how quickly we were able to take down our whole setup. You know, things didn't really get put back in the right places. We just got it in the truck and got out of there. We didn't really have a plan at that point as to where we were going to spend the night, because, you know, that was our plan, was staying in that field. And so we just got out of there, and it was kind of on the back of my mind that if we could find a place on the drive out of there that we could, you know, pull over and set up in a more covered or a less open area. But it got to be so dark that we could basically only see the trail in front of us. And so I ended up realizing later after the fact that there were a couple places that we probably could have pulled off, but I didn't realize that until the next day when we went back out to see the Painted Hills. And so, you know, we just got out of there and we cruised into town to a local town and spent the night at a motel there just because we really weren't sure where to set up camp at. And so we spent the night there and got up first thing in the morning bright and early to head out to the Painted Hills, and that is going to be what you see next in this video, is our journey to head out there. And it's a pretty cool experience, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Alrighty, so we're back out here at the Painted Hills after the whole fiasco of last night. The original plan was to come out here, so we still wanted to make sure we did that even after everything happened with our camping trip. So we were only maybe a couple miles from here where we were camping, so getting to this area would have been nice and quick and easy this morning, but because we ended up driving into town and spending the night there and everything, it took a few more extra minutes. But anyways, we're going to take you guys along for the journey and hopefully get some cool drone shots, and hopefully it captures it, because it's difficult to explain how beautiful this area is. I've never seen anything like it in person. Saw a sign back there that said the reason for the red color that we see on all these hills out here was due to a volcano years ago that went off that was heavy in iron, and apparently iron ash spread across the area, and as iron does, it started to rust, and that has been the cause for all of this kind of red clay that we see out here. So I hope the camera and the drone and everything pick up how vibrant this all is. It's super, super red. It's not just like a slight brown color, it's quite red. I wanted to get the drone out here, but there was some signs in this specific area saying not to fly a drone, so we're gonna leave that parked for the time being. But I mean, hopefully it kind of picks it up here, because it's really quite cool. And it's not just this little area either. I mean, it's all across this area. We've got on the sides of mountains, and it's kind of blotchy, you know. It's not like the entire mountain is necessarily red. It's kind of just little areas here or there that are super red, and some that are more yellow, and it's pretty cool. If you're ever in the area, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere here in Oregon, but if you're in the area, I definitely recommend giving it a look, or even consider driving out to it, because it is quite beautiful out here. And it's the mountain ranges and everything that you're around is so vast, and there's no one out here. I mean, we saw one other vehicle out here for the past couple miles, and I think they were out hiking. There's a bunch of hiking trails out here, because we never saw the actual people. It's just their vehicle. So very quiet, very peaceful area, and it's just so vast out here. It's pretty cool. So we've pretty much traveled through most of the Painted Hills unit park, whatever you want to call it, out here. So I think we're going to get turned around and start making our way back out. If you are interested in coming out here, you could definitely do it in any vehicle. You don't need a four-wheel drive or anything like that. All of these trails we've been on today have been just basically gravel roads. So any kind of vehicle you have, just come out and take a look at it. It's really beautiful out here, and I hope that the camera was able to capture some of it, but I know it's not going to be able to capture quite the vastness and vibrance of the area. So if you're in the area, definitely check it out. Where we were camping last night, though, I wouldn't recommend a two-wheel drive vehicle out there. At least the trail we took in and took out, there was a little bit of technical driving and a little bit of articulation and kind of some uphill climbing we did there. I don't know how well the camera will have showed it. It may have looked like nothing in the video, but it was nothing crazy. But you know, if you have a four-wheel drive vehicle with some decent tires, you'll make it up it, but it's not something that I would bring a smaller two-wheel drive vehicle on. You might get yourself stuck, at least at one place. The rest of it was relatively straightforward. I mean, we were in two-wheel drive the entire time out there, except for when we were climbing up out of that area I just mentioned. So anyways, if you're out here in Oregon, this is definitely a place to stop by and take a look. It really is beautiful and very vast, and I hope I was able to capture that to, you know, in this video as much as possible. If you guys did enjoy this video, then make sure to like and subscribe and do all those things, and hopefully we'll have some more content coming in the near future. So thank you guys for watching.